Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Notorious Momz, the podcast. I'm here with my girl Helen. Hey, Helen.
Hi, how are you
I
doing,
already know
y'all?
that this episode is going to be hilarious because you are just so funny,
Stop.
spunky.
You
I
know,
just love it. You know, when
you know.
I saw you live with Bar the other day.
Oh,
Well, let me say
yeah,
this. So let me
yeah.
just say this real quick. I met Helen through my EB radio family. And I
Woohoo!
call them my family because, Bar, I met so many dope people. You,
Yeah.
um, Dre on Wheels from the 11:30
Dre on
podcast. Shout
wheels.
out to Dre. Gotta
Yes.
give him a quick shout out.
You
He's
know he's
having a
expecting a baby.
baby.
Yeah.
Yes. Congrats.
Woo!
He's having a baby boy, him and his fiance. I'm
Yes.
so happy for them. I saw
Ugh.
the news when I was watching his show on YouTube. He announced
Yes,
it. I was
ma'am.
like, that is so dope.
Blew me.
Yes. So the EB Radio family. Shout out to EB Radio. Shout out to Bar.
Gang, gang. Oh,
Um,
gang, gang.
that's my family.
Title.
That's
We
that's
love.
that's my
Period.
my EB Radio family.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So Helen, tell the people what you do.
Yes.
What you got going
Oh,
on. Tell them
too
about
much.
Honestly Helen.
Oh, you're
Love
right. You're
it.
right. Okay, okay. Yes. Right there, right there. That's the name. I do have my own podcast. It's called Honestly Helen, where we talk things honestly. That's my little what is it, tagline? And I'm really proud of that. I just want to say that for some reason, every time I'm saying I'm like, can I cuss?
Of course, you could
I'm like,
cuss.
bitch, this is a
This is
good tagline. Talking
Notorious
like
Moms.
honesty.
We cuss on here. Yeah, we
Okay.
do.
Fuck that Okay, I'm sorry. I'm aggressive. I'm done. Okay, 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 okay. Focus, Helen.
Feel free to be you.
Girl, I might need to get some explicit design. It's been a day.
Don't
But let me
worry.
be focused,
We
y'all.
here for it.
I,
We here for it.
don't encourage me, sorry. Now listen, I'm trying to stay focused, friend. I'm trying to let the people know.
All
All
right,
right.
friend. Let the people know.
Right. Podcast, we talk life honestly. It's filtered like the Notorious Mom, so we cuss, we keep it honest. There's no topic that's off limits. There is no thought that is a wrong thought. There's no wrong opinion. I will challenge you in a polite, respectful way. But for the most part, I just like to hear people. I feel like what I have to say is valid. I've also been validated by a lot of people about what I have to say, and so when I actually had an Instagram, I honestly had an Instagram way before I even started a podcast. And I just was like, I feel like what I say is dope. So I'm gonna just make videos about it and see how people receive it. And I would get
Right.
like 6 likes, 8 likes. And I was like, oh girl, when I hit 12 likes, you couldn't tell me nothing. I said, baby, we in double digits now, okay? And we stayed at 12 likes for a long time. so
And
so
that's
now,
okay.
and we just kept chugging along. And then when the pandemic hit, I was talking to my cousin. He was saying how podcasts are really becoming the new thing, and
Yes.
people are looking for a different type of media to intake media. And
Right.
radio is kind of overkill now. Or not really, not radio. Music. Like people are kind of getting tired of listening to music.
Right.
The whole what's that YouTube or not the Instagram verses. The verses thing came out, and like people are really looking forward to
Yes.
that. That was a whole movement, and
Oh
he was
my
like,
God. Yes.
"Yo,
I've seen a few of
yes,
them. And
yes."
I just love the way that they set it up. The last one, the one with Bone Thugs though, that
I
was a
missed
little
it. I missed it. Oh
that was a
no.
little rough. Crazy Bone he was acting up a little bit, but
He was acting crazy. He was acting crazy.
we ain't gonna talk about Crazy Bone.
We
But
love you, crazy. So
so,
the pandemic hit, and he was like, "You should really optimize on having a podcast." So
right.
I just started the podcast November of 2020, I believe, and I've been keeping through. We on season 3 that just started a
Okay,
few
season
weeks
3.
ago. Season 3 or January. It's been we on episode 3, just aired, and so. Girl, but work is kicking my ass and taking names. So season 3 is really,
Mm,
y'all. If we make
yes.
it,
Your last episode,
amen.
that
I'm
was the one with the
grateful.
soul ties, right?
Yes, that was
I
episode
listened to
2.
it while I was grocery shopping. Remember I told you
Ooh,
I was in the I was in the grocery store. It was the day of the snowstorm. Well, over here in New York, we were having a
right.
snowstorm and I had
Okay.
just took the day off. And I was like, "Oh, her episode is up." So I'm walking the aisles listening to, you guys talk about the soul ties. I was like, "Oh, this
Mhm.
is like really interesting." I didn't even know that was a thing.
Girl, Brian's
And I know
hello.
you didn't know that was a thing either.
Yeah, we was learning together. And I don't listen, to be honest, I don't know if you caught an episode, but there was a lot of things I was like, oh, okay. All
Right.
right. It was.
Because at first I was listening to it like you were listening to it and interpreting
Mhm.
the same thing, like, soul ties being like a good thing, at
Right.
first. And it's like, oh, okay, and then it was just like, no, that's not a
Right.
good thing. And I was like, oh,
Sorry.
I listened to the whole thing, but it was good. It was a good episode. I loved
Thanks.
it.
Thanks, Miss
I
Toya.
enjoyed it. I
Thank you,
liked it.
friend.
Yes,
She
it was.
liked it. Notorious Moms liked my podcast. I made him. I made him.
Yes. So the podcasting thing, yeah, it did
Oh,
it's like blowing up. And I think it's
yeah.
actually really great. Some people don't like listening to podcasts, others do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but some
I
people
think it's
just don't
dope
like
that
it.
I think it's dope that you have video and audio because mine is just audio. Because I don't have the mental space to edit video or to be put together every time I record. So,
So let me tell you about that. I started off with audio too. But then I kind of realized that people are visual creatures.
yes, yes,
They like to see, people like
yes,
to see,
we
they like
do.
to see you talk, they like to see the bloopers, they like to see the funny things and the movement and the faces
Mm-hmm.
that we make. Cause I know my faces just be like, sometimes I gotta work on that.
Friend,
That's something
friend,
that I have to work on.
you.
Cause sometimes I'll be like, and it's like, I'm interested, but my faces just don't go with it.
No, this
But
is my excited face. This is my excited face. Please don't misinterpret it. We just excited and confused at the same time.
Yes. So people are like, they like to see stuff. So I figured out a way to kind of like do both. But the
Yeah.
editing sometimes it's like a pain in the ass because it just is what it is.
Do you have to edit twice? Like, do you have to edit the audio and the video? How does that even work?
So before, when I was just doing the audio, my husband was actually, he is an audio engineer. So he was doing all of my audio editing. Yes,
Yes, hubby. Yes,
he did all
hubby.
of my editing. So if you listen to my earlier episodes, they sound really great because he actually spent time in editing. Now that I'm using StreamYard to kind of like do my stuff,
Yeah.
it kind of does it all for you, honestly.
Oh.
Yeah, so we could talk about that
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You right. You
offline,
right. Yes,
and I
ma'am.
could I could let you know how to do this.
Tell me, friend. I don't know if I'm ready, but tell me. I'm gonna take some notes.
I'll give you the info because we all,
Oh.
we all. This is like a learning. Every day is like a learning process with this.
Yes.
With
Yes.
recording and the video, and
It
it's
is a
just
real
fun.
community. It's a real
Yes.
community. And I didn't
Yes.
I didn't actually expect that until you start to be guests on other podcasts and you're like, damn, you understand me? Like you get that this because every podcast I've talked to, we talk about editing, we all like, I thought it was just me. I was like,
Mm-mm.
girl, you and editing is just not your
No,
thing. It's the devil.
it's a
It's the
thing.
devil.
And if you're
Yeah.
doing it yourself,
Mm, right.
it's a pain in the ass.
Girl, I have an episode I have to edit coming up and I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna just submit how it is and y'all just take this hour and 15 minutes. You're welcome. Damn it.
Hey, at least they got it.
Right. I was on time. Okay. We punctual around here, right? And human.
At,
So,
at least.
you know, baby steps. I'm gonna edit it. I'm talking shit, but I don't want to.
Just do it. You're gonna
I
have to
am.
just do it
I am.
and be done with it and let it go.
Also, can I just say I really love this pink. Like the little mic
Oh,
we got. We got the pink. The
so
I didn't even know, and I'm coordinating.
yes,
You see
you are.
this?
So, Notorious Mom's fun fact: pink is my favorite color.
Oh yes.
I love any shade of pink.
Okay.
Um, any shade of pink. I don't know why, because I never used to be like that. Like blue and gray used to be like one of my favorite colors.
Oh,
But
interesting.
as I got older, like as an adult, I really started to um grow a love for pink.
Okay, well, I'm gonna have to send you a picture. I'm getting a one of my, I'm on another podcast and I'm getting it in pink, the letter. So I'm gonna have to send you a picture now that I know
Yes,
you like
send
all
me.
shades because
I love all
I
shades
don't know how
pink.
I feel about it. I'm on the fence.
A lot of my friends don't like pink. I think I'm like the only one in my friends group that like pink a lot.
Well, I'm
They
here
don't.
for it. I'm happy I showed up correctly. You
Yes.
know, the
You
vibes.
look
I didn't even know.
you look fab.
Oh, sad. Stop. I'm
All right, so
crying.
let's jump into our
Yes.
topic. So let's talk about dating, right?
Okay, friends. Oof.
So I'm married. Are
Mhm.
you taken?
I am in a relationship. We committed lockdown.
You are in a relationship. Kudos.
I don't got a mic. I'm in a relationship. I want to repeat it with you just in case. Don't nobody, please don't get confused, y'all. We don't got time.
That is so dope. But I guess before we got into relationships, though, we dated, right?
Of course. Of course.
So I have a couple of single friends, and this is a conversation that always comes up.
Mm-hmm.
When we're brunching or when we're out, like dating in the now is kind of like really weird, right? So, well, Helen, how old are you, real quick?
Yes, I'm a youngin. I'm 27.
Oh, all right. So I got 10 years on you.
Oh,
So
you
let's talk
look
about how
good
dating used to
though.
be. Oh, thank you.
You look
You too.
good. Oh,
Let's talk about dating, how it used to be
okay.
in my 10 years
Oh, yes,
way back
please.
when, right? So we used to have like the AOL chat rooms. Do you remember that?
Yes,
Do you
yes,
remember the
I do.
AOL chat rooms?
I do remember AOL chat
We
rooms.
used to have the AOL chat rooms and like the call-in chat rooms. Do you remember
Oh,
that?
I don't. I
Okay.
don't remember the
So way
calling chat.
back when there used to be chat rooms that you would phone into. Like you would call in and you would talk to people on the phone, but it was like an AOL
Wow.
chat room like now. And now I would describe that as, have you heard of Clubhouse? Clubhouse is
Yes.
like a
Yeah,
new
yeah, yeah.
it's like
I
a new
have.
social media.
Hmm.
It's kind of like that,
I haven't
but
checked out
back
Clubhouse
in the
personally,
day.
but now you make me want to
You
because that
should.
is interesting.
Mhm. So you would call
Interesting.
in, you would get like a code, and then people would just be in there and you would talk. You would go like in a separate room, and just like get to know somebody over the telephone.
Wow. Girl,
Mhm.
people don't even like to talk on the phone now. Oh, not that they was out here doing
So,
it today.
yes. So that is like one of the big differences with like
Yeah.
dating back then and like now.
Hmm.
Nobody wants to talk over the phone, which I think is like I have an issue with that.
I agree.
Cause and let me tell
Hmm.
you why. I like hearing people's voices.
Mm.
I know it sounds weird, right?
No, I like how you said that. I went another way with it, but go ahead.
So I feel like a man's voice is attractive, right?
Hmm. Yes.
And if I speak to you over the phone and you don't have a nice voice, I get unattractive. It's
Oh,
weird. Like I get like it's like a turn off
that's your
if your
thing.
voice is
Okay.
not if your voice is not good.
Now, what if their voice don't match how they look?
See, that's another thing.
Are you in a different conundrum now?
Because,
You gotta close your eyes. Talk to me now.
because I can't tell you how many times that's happened to me.
Oh, oh, I was being funny.
I'm
Oh,
talking to someone over the phone, didn't see them in person, and their voice was like on point. I'm like, oh,
excuse me.
he must be good
Mm-hmm.
looking, right? Honey, I seen a
Mm.
picture and I was just like, oh no, 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 no,
Are you?
no, no. No,
Oh,
it's just not gonna work. It's
now
just
that
not
was
gonna
the
work.
catfishing back in the day.
That's yes. That was the catfishing back in the
It
day.
was the voice. Okay, so if
The
I think
voices.
about what's different when I was dating, we social media wasn't as heavy as it was now, and I
Right?
think back then, like people were more willing to stay with someone when they got cheated on.
Yeah.
Now, social media validates that there's all these different women, you have access to all these different men.
Yes.
So if your current acting a little funny, honey, you just drop them like a hot potato, or you don't, and you have like seven girlfriends, and you're not even ashamed of it. Because if one
Right.
fall off, you're like, oh baby, there's six more of you. Sorry.
Right.
Like
And they
back in
got
the
they
day, you
got
didn't
the
even know that.
what are they calling them now? The sneaky links.
My friend used that today, and I was like, "Oh, this is the new. It's not mistress. It's a sneaky link. It's
It's
not.
called the
Wait,
sneaky link.
wait. What was a man called when they were a mistress? Were they ever given anything? Why was women always given a fucking label, but a man is just a man if they had like what
Hmm.
they was called?
That's a
A
side
pimp?
side dude.
Oh, side dude. Okay, okay. You're
The
right.
side
Okay,
dude.
side dude. Okay, okay, okay.
I
As
mean,
long as
that's
they
what
got something.
they would be the side dude, but that wasn't really common back then either. It was the
No,
woman who was usually always the
the
side chick.
master.
or the
Yeah,
mistress,
I
when they
don't
were
like I
married.
don't now that we talk, I don't like how men didn't have a label for themselves. They're just out here. Oh no, I'm just a man, but you a mistress or a hoe or a side piece. Oh, interesting. We're doing the same shit. I didn't know we had different titles for it.
Yes, but I
We
think that was
digress.
like
I'm
the only
sorry.
title.
I'm sorry. Mm, mm.
Everybody has a title though. It's a sleek link or a side chick or this. I don't really hear hoe a lot anymore.
It's
But
thought. That's why.
oh, it's the thotties,
It's
the
the thoughties. You're not a hoe.
Thotianas.
You a thottiana. Isn't that the dance?
I'm like not. I'm not in like the slang words. Or you know what? A treesh. Have you heard of that one?
Is that a
The young
Jersey
kids are
thing?
using that word now. That's
A
supposed to be that's like
treesh?
yes, that's equivalent to Urban Dictionary that it's equivalent to
How you
a
even
hoe.
spell that?
I don't know. But that's what I heard. Who did I hear say that one time? I think my son said that one time and I was like, what the hell is that? I have a 17-year-old son. Um,
Dang, girl, you
yeah.
whatever you doing, you got the magic potion, baby. Because who would have known?
No, I don't.
Well,
Honestly,
you
this is just a
fooling
little
me.
it's just a little bronzer because I don't even have a filter on. Usually I'll be using filters.
See,
I ain't
well,
even gonna
listen,
lie.
sis, you don't even need it. Let me tell you right here, right
Thank
now, you don't even need
you.
it. Cause what?
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'll be trying.
No,
I'll be having
girl.
these raccoon eyes sometimes.
But you're a
That
mom.
doesn't
You're a
work.
mom. You
I
kind of can't.
am.
You kind of. I haven't met a mom who hasn't had raccoon eyes. So
I'll be trying though. It's hard. But you see,
you
you
got it.
see, you see the time. It's what time is it over there in your time?
Sam 56.
Yeah, it is close to 11 o'clock over here. So I
Baby
probably won't be
tired.
getting to sleep till like midnight.
Oof.
Um,
Bless
the
you.
sidebar.
We
So
digress. I do that a lot, Tanya. You gotta check me, girl.
trust
I
me, I
digress
do
like a
that too
motherfucker.
on a lot of my episodes. If you hear like my early episodes, I always do that because it's just like you get into like a side conversation and it's just like, wait, hold on a second. Weren't we just talking
Right.
about something else? It's all
How we get
good.
over here? I
I
don't
don't
know.
mind it. I don't mind it at all. It makes for
Me
a more
too.
interesting episode.
Yeah. You know we like
So
that.
so dating, right? So
Yes.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
So then there was another site like then the like the app started coming out like Tinder and
Plenty of fish.
plenty of I was on POF a long time ago. You want to hear a funny story?
I always like funny stories, especially with a dating app.
So a very long time ago, I was on Plenty of Fish, right? And I
Mm.
was like, just browsing. A lot of it was just for conversation, entertainment, right?
Okay.
Because it's just like a lot of the people that were on there, a lot of the men that were on there were just not my cup of tea, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
But the
Mm-hmm.
conversations were interesting, they were entertaining.
Okay.
But one time I was on the train and I'm on the platform of the train and I see this guy, right? So
Mm-hmm.
he looked attractive, but he really wasn't,
Oh.
right? He was dressed nice and he looked at me and I was just like, all right. So I'm leaving it alone. I see him approaching and I'm just like, right, I'm a New Yorker. I see somebody approaching me.
Right.
I get into like,
What's good?
it's like, it's
Right.
like go time. So I'm like looking at him. He's like, I've seen you before.
Oh
I'm like,
God.
oh yeah, right? But then he smiles. When he smiled, that man looked like he opened up metal cans for a living. Okay. He had
No,
like
you
these
didn't.
gold sharp teeth. I was like, what the fuck? He was like, yeah, I know you. You on Plenty of Fish. I was like,
Can we go back to the gold sharp
oh,
teeth though?
listen, that very day I closed my account. I said, no. I said, no. You ain't
Not
gonna
this
do
over.
me like this. What were the odds, right? Of having your picture up and it's just like, dude, no, you don't know me. You see me, but you don't know me.
Period. He said, "Oh, baby, you gonna like these teeth though." I put money into this.
Yo, I was just like that
Wow.
same very day. I was like, all right, I'm done with this shit. That's it. No
And
more.
you get a lot of weirdos on those type of apps. It's really a hit or miss. What's funny though is that me and my boyfriend actually met on Instagram. And what's even funnier about that is that I'm not from California originally. I'm from Jacksonville, Florida. So
Oh, okay.
how we even got connected on Instagram, neither one of us knows because we wouldn't have like I was here for maybe a year and we were friends maybe a year and a half once I was so I didn't we didn't have enough connections for us to be friends, but somehow we got connected. And so
It
I'll
was
forever be
meant.
grateful for that.
It was meant.
Right? It was meant because to this day I'm like, how do you find me? Like I don't even know nobody you know. I'm confusion, but neither here nor there. So I will say meeting your partner online is what is it, trying to find a needle in a haystack? It's
Yes.
sometimes you get the good stories, but I've heard a lot of boo-boo stories. Actually, one of my
Yes.
good friends right now, she's talking to a guy who is gaslighting the hell out of her. I mean,
Mm,
like
mm.
hardcore, making my sis confused, and they've only known each other for less than a month. And this
Oh
is my
no.
thing, and this is what I learned about dating because this is not the first time she's run into this. When you're very self-aware and accountable, you can't date men who aren't because it
Right.
makes it so hard. Like it's just shit you're not gonna tolerate no more. And they
Yes.
gon' instantly, oh, you a bitch. Oh, you want too much. No, baby, I
Yes.
know what I want. I know what I deserve, but I'm not gonna take for less just because you think you look good.
Right. That's a whole fact.
Period. And so I'm noticing, I'm like, if I was to become single now, I think I'd be single forever because the way I've had to mentally mature because my man was a very strong minded, like he wasn't gonna tell him shit. And I was like, okay, that's cute. But you also not gonna treat me any kind of way and think I'm gonna just bow down
Take
because I
it.
love you.
Right.
So now if we were to break up, they'd be hard in these streets for these men because I'd be like, oh, you think I'm gonna cry because you didn't call me? Oh baby, it's not that deep over here.
Mm. Yes, I have one of my really good friends. She's single and she's like that too. She's like, "Listen, I've been there, done that, and I ain't taking shit from nobody." And I think that that is like the biggest issue too is like
Yes,
I think women have also evolved into like these strong, you know, wonderful beings
yes,
like and aware, not saying that we weren't before, but there definitely has been an evolution and we're just like, no.
yeah,
But also too, I feel like we have been more we're setting more boundaries.
yes,
People
and
don't
sticking
like
to
that.
them. Girl, they'd be like, this a line? I can't
Yes.
I can't push this?
Mhm.
No. And if you do, when I pow you, don't be looking lost. Don't be confused because you know this line was not meant to be crossed.
Right.
I 1,000%. And I think to your point, women have always been independent, but the social media and the technology I think really has empowered a lot of moms, a
Yes.
lot of single moms, a lot of honestly women of the night, our porn stars, our
Yes.
what's the thing, our OnlyFans, like
Right.
being in control of that, like having a pimp and now being able to have an OnlyFans, same shit, different day.
Yes.
The freedoms that come with that. Now, listen, I ain't into it because I too many weirdos out here.
Right.
But the fact that as a woman you can take your control back and be like, I can do the same shit and the same thing in my house and get paid for it and not have to give my money to nobody.
Right.
Baby, what a pimp finna tell me? Baby, I got
Yeah.
internet. I got internet and one piece of lingerie. That's all we need to get something started.
That's a whole fact. And because the pimps were the protection, right? So if you're
Yeah.
in the comfort of your own home, you ain't got to give nobody nothing. And like
Mm.
you said, you have full control of what you want to do with your shit. I'm with
So
it.
who
I'm
who
not
not finna cross the boundary? You
right.
not. You not.
Exactly.
Boys. We talking to the boys, not the men, because there's a difference.
Yes.
That might be a different episode, but we talking to the little
But
boys
what do
out
you
there.
think? What do you think is one difference between a man and a boy?
A man's accountable, a boy deflects or gaslights.
I like that. I like that.
Because
Boys
what I've
always
noticed
deflecting.
they do, and what I've noticed about a man who's accountable, it's also tied with their ego. So to see a man be able to say, you know what, I could have handled that better. I'm gonna do better. is is powerful, and I think women underestimate that because a lot of times like we do expect it and we do deserve it, but we also know men are a little slow. They're not on our level, so they gotta like be taught and a little bit of molded, and you gotta brainwash them a little bit with some, yo, it's okay to say you sorry. It's okay to fuck up. I fuck up. Let's fuck up together and say sorry together. When you finally get to that moment of getting a man who's like, you know what, I messed up. I'm gonna fix it. Let's do better. It's different when you give it a boy that's like, well, I talk like that, so why your feelings hurt? You talk
Yeah,
to your
and that
mama like
often
that?
that often happens. It
Yes.
often happens. And
Let
it's
me get a
just
little voice.
it's it's real sickening.
Mm,
'Cause I've been in relationships like that too, where it was just
it
like
sucks.
no accountability. It was like deflection, and it's just like, "Oh, but you did this and this is the reason why I'm acting like
Right.
this is because of what you did. You know, the reason why this went this way is because of what you did, but what about what
Right.
you did?"
Right. So I'm just dating myself now. All of a sudden, I'm just by myself when we together. Okay.
Right?
Thank you. Thank you. Have the same energy. Have the same energy when the tables are turned, okay? That's what's funny too. Men can take what they dish out. I've noticed too.
Mm, mm,
On several
mm,
things.
mm,
Several
mm.
things. They can't take a woman speaking their mind, but they can speak theirs. They can't take a woman checking them, but they can check a woman.
And they can't and one thing I would say is that they can't take a woman cheating on them.
Oh, now we know. Now we okay. Tell me if you agree with this. I don't know how I feel, but I do feel like we as a species, the women species, we've been doing it longer and better because men get too fucked up when they find out. Like we just know like we're emotional by nature. So I
Right.
think if a woman does get to that point, or we already know how to keep you, we already know your trigger. So we know how to keep you happy and then go find someone to keep us happy and they come home. You hungry? Okay. I cooked. And men, and some men are really good at it too, but I do feel like women might do a little bit more. And we just been real good at hiding it.
So, I agree. Yes. I think that we have probably been doing it for longer and we can do it better. But we're also very forgiving when it's done to us.
Yes.
Versus a man not being as forgiving when it's done
Yes.
to them.
Yes.
Because
Now that's mhm,
they just won't. Like I
mhm.
personally like experiences that I've had, they are not as forgiving and they'll always like remind you about it versus like I feel
Yes.
like women, that have been cheated on or whatever, we forgive, we don't forget, but
Right.
oftentimes it's not something that we can bring up all the time. You know
Yeah.
what I
Nor
mean?
do we want to.
Right. Because if you're trying to move forward in a relationship where
Say,
trust has been violated, it's not something that you want to continuously bring up all the time, right?
can we just amen? Like can we all just understand that? Like for real, y'all. If you trying to move past it and if y'all decide to stay and it's been an adulterous relationship, you
Mhm.
cannot keep bringing that shit up.
Right.
Obviously, you don't want to move forward. I'm so glad you said that
Right.
because, girl, I be confusion.
Cuz it happens, right? You
Yeah.
sometimes not always, right? Because every single person has different relationships, but sometimes, you have a relationship where someone does cheat, right? Whether it's the
Mhm.
woman or the man. Um And it's just like, okay, when you decide that you want to move forward, like this is not something, and I'm not a therapist, like this is just like my own experiences. But if you're trying to move forward in a relationship that you want to be in and there was a violation of trust in that way, it's not something that you can keep rehashing, right? You talk
Right.
about it,
Deal with
you
it.
sit down, you talk about it, you figure out, okay, how are we going to move forward together as a couple, right? Because relationships
Mhm.
take two.
Takes.
How are we
Oh,
going to do that?
amen. Amen.
But you have to figure out, like, okay, is this the deal breaker for me? I've spoken
Mhm.
about that in one of my other podcasts. Like, what are people's deal breakers? Like, is cheating a deal breaker? And if you can't move forward, and if this is something that you're going to keep rehashing and rehashing, then maybe you shouldn't be in that relationship.
Yes.
But
Yes.
men tend to do that more because I guess, I don't know, when they get cheated on, it's their ego, they're hurt. They
Girl, it's
just
like
feel
you slapped
like,
their mama.
yeah, it's like, it's just so many things.
It's horrible. It's and I on that note. I didn't cheat, but I like emotionally flirted in a toxic relationship. And mind you, this man had a girl call me while I was at a wedding saying that she thought she was pregnant by him. And I'm like, I'm trying to enjoy a wedding. And when he found out that I was emotionally flirting, when I tell you this man would not stop bringing it up. And whenever I was like, okay, but a girl calls me while I was at a wedding saying that you got her pregnant, we not talking about that. We not, oh, no, that's not the conversation. Oh, because now my
Yes,
feelings aren't valid because I did something to hurt your feelings.
right.
Good riddance. Ooh, that was my most growing relationship because I did some shit that I said I would never tolerate. And
Mm.
I learned never say never because you do some,
I think we've all been, I think
right?
everyone has had a one, at least a one. I've
At
had a
least.
few. I think I'm a glutton for punishment, but that's another topic for another day.
Because
Um,
listen, it is
but yeah, I've been in a few toxic relationships and they fucking suck.
a lot.
Um, but you eventually you move on and um you don't let it break you. I think
You
that's
can't.
you know,
You life too short and misery loves company.
that's a whole fact. That is
Hmm.
a whole fact. But we ain't miserable over here at Notorious Moms or on Honestly Helen.
This is
And
I'm
on
cheers at
that
both of us.
note, with
Start
with the
out.
click of the glass, Helen, tell the
Mm.
people where they could find you. We're gonna leave it right here, right here.
Yes, find me on Instagram, honestly Helen, one L and Helen underscore at the end. Again, honestly Helen, all one word underscore at the end. That's really all I got. I'm
You're
working
on
on a website,
Instagram, on
Instagram, but
where
that's
they can hear your podcast.
oh yes, you were girl, I be forgetting all that shit.
Girl.
Podcast. It's I know. All platforms, Apple, Spotify, Google, Podcast Addict. Part of the EB Radio, so it airs every other
Yes.
Monday at 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. And find me with Tanya, sometimes, on her podcast too, hopefully again, that's
Well,
about
all
it.
right, guys, make sure y'all tune in. Check out
Thank
Honestly
you.
Helen. Helen, thank you for stopping by, and we gonna chat soon,
Thank
love.
you.
Have a good
Yes, thank you so
night.
much. You too.
Bye.